The death toll in last Thursday's attacks on 4 villages in Numan local government area of Adamawa State by suspected herdsmen has risen to 27.
Yes, correspondent Olabi Adenusi visited the affected communities and brought back this report that is now presented from our studios.
Residents of Gon, Unzumosu, Borki, Nyanga, and Bukuto villages of Numan local government in Adamawa State have fled their ancestral homes following Thursday's attack by suspected killer herdsmen. They accused security agencies of doing nothing to prevent the attack, even though they got information of the impending violence and informed the relevant authorities.
As we speak now, there are scores of people that have not been accounted for. We cannot really tell if they are alive or not. And this is the situation, and as you can see for yourself, it's so pathetic.
Some survivors of the attack share their experiences.
We don't have anything to defend ourselves. So by so doing, we are trying to escape, and already flood have been around the place. So some have lost their life in the flood, and even though flood killed many people.
Some bread, that bread of 100 naira have been divided into two by two people. One by two people. Where we arrive in the camp. And what we need the government to do is to assist us in this condition.
Those Fulani people will not do anything. We are here. They kill us around 4 o'clock, day before yesterday. They are around the village. The people now, they kill. We are not know the amount of people they kill.
The state government and the lawmaker representing Numan constituency in the Adamawa State House of Assembly, Sodom Tayedi, say they are disturbed by the ceaseless attacks on their people.
For now, I cannot tell you precisely the number of casualties, but so far we have buried 27 deaths, and we are still searching because some people are missing.
We have pledged to support all the security agencies, give them all the necessary support they require so that they can investigate these things, because they are getting too frequent, and we're suspecting to a large extent that these things are intended to destabilize the state. We are worried because, the multiplier effect of these attacks is that they will have serious impact and consequences on food security.
Numan has come under persistent and unchecked attacks in the last 1 year from killer herders, leading to the death of hundreds.
It's really disturbing.
Very disturbing. Very for a community to be constantly coming under attacks. Well, security consultant Hassan Stan Labo joins us now in the studio. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Azizat. Good
Yes.
morning, thank you.
And then in our Abuja studio is a public affairs analyst, Solomon Adodo. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning.
Yes.
And as time goes on, we'll also have a native of Numan, Ransom Nakusuba. He'll be joining us on phone from Numan village, where this attacks took place. He is one of those, he's said to be one of those who was an eyewitness, and he'll give us account of what is going on. Colonel, let me start with you here. With all of the security challenges Nigeria has, I remember we've talked so many times on security issues, from Boko Haram to herdsmen to bandits and all of that on this program. But with the challenges Nigeria has, which we know, which you have also told us, there is still the belief that it is not true. It is not out of the capacity of Nigeria to totally handle all of the security challenges.
Well, you are correct, and I share that opinion. Like I keep saying, we must be able to address some of the internal deficits. And I see those internal deficits, if I could just list them out: equipment, funding, morale, welfare, what else? We must be able to address these internal deficits, let me just say this. Immediately after 9/11, a lot of Western countries and Middle East countries tripled their funding for their intelligence operations. Tripled. I don't think we're doing similar thing. We are still at the level where every little increment on defense spending arouses or generates so much of national concern. Why? And at the end of the day,
maybe because it doesn't seem as if the amount being expended
is not
even absolutely. Maybe because.
Well, you're correct, but you see, we need to make up our mind on what we really want. We mustn't behave, we must not behave like a housewife who does not even know what she wants. We must know what we want and go for it. We are in a war. This country is in a war. Whether we want to accept that reality or not. We must do everything we think is possible to get ourselves out of this mess.
Okay. All right. Solomon, let me come to you. Okay, you still want to say something?
If we are going out to shop for equipment, we shop for the right equipment. We know the challenges of terrain where we are operating. If some of the equipment we need there are damn expensive, we go shop for them. Like I keep saying at times, if you don't use the money in doing what you should do, politicians will end up pocketing the money in Nigeria. That is the truth. There is so much stealing ongoing both in the past and whatever because we pretended we wanted to save some money. And at the end of the day, it ended up in people's pockets. We must invest in this country. Infrastructure, defense, infrastructure, and so on. We must build Nigeria.
But then you know that it goes beyond just putting defense infrastructure in place or any other gadgets needed to fight any war, to ensure security and peace in any nation. What about the people that will use such structures? Let me come to you, Solomon, now. What would you attribute this to, really? Would you say is incompetence or nonchalant attitude somehow on the part of the security operatives in the country that Numan community in this country has come under attacks countless times in the past 1 year?
All right, thank you very much. First, may I extend my condolence to the good people of Numan, those who have been affected adversely by these attacks. We will not come up to begin to say that the Nigerian military is incompetent, because that will be a great disservice to the military and to the nation as a whole. We know that severally, when such attacks have come up, the military has been very proactive in responding to them. We had incidences in Zamfara State where cattle rustling was on. The military responded, and that has been brought down significantly. In Benue State, we had the issues of the herdsmen also, which was rearing its ugly head. And the military also intervened. As we speak presently, the Nigerian military is conducting several operations, over 10 operations across the nation, from the northeast to the Niger Delta region, where they are contending with militants and the rest of them, and then to the northwest. Now, the incidents in Numan, as sorry as it is, we will not begin to say the military is not doing its part, or the security agencies are not doing their part. However, as these attacks have come, in the manner in which the Zamfara issue, the Benue issue, and others have been put, we just need to put more confidence in the military. We just need to give them the needed support.
Solomon.
As I speak with you,
Solomon, yes.
You wanted to say something?
Absolutely. Now, it's not about talking about the incompetence of the Nigerian military. Of course, we know they are gallant soldiers. That has been, of course, established over time. We shouldn't even be talking about the military. That is even the interesting part of this all. For a security situation internally, it is the responsibility of the Nigeria police, but we are not even talking about that. Like you said, the military has been overstretched for works that are not even supposed to be its responsibilities in the first place?
Yes. You see, you've rightly stated it. The military is to complement other civil security forces, to complement what the police is doing, what the civil defense and the rest of them are doing. Now, it now tells us that there should be all-round collaboration. There should be thorough intelligence gathering. And then there should be also proactive response. Because a life lost is a threat to lives everywhere. As such, we should make sure that these things are brought down totally. So the Nigeria Police Force also should swing in. As sorry as this is, we just need to find a way about it. We sympathize with the Numan people, and we also call on the police to wake up. Other security structures to also wake up and do their roles effectively. Then, these communities who have also come under attacks, the fact that these attacks have happened, remember that those who are attacking, the marauders, are using a form of guerrilla tactics. They attack and they retreat. They attack and they retreat. There is no clear formation that you can. So there is need for eternal vigilance. There is need for cooperation between the civil populace there and the security agencies. That is the best way we can use to maybe frontally take care of all of these issues once and for all.
Okay. Colonel, let me come back to you here. There is a dimension that seems to be very worrying. When there is an attack on a community, we're seeing trends that is always very quick to say they are herdsmen or they are Fulani people. Why that rhetoric? Is it the media that is putting it out there? Or we played the report earlier on. The villagers were calling the names of a certain ethnic group, as the case may be. But I wonder how easy it is to identify these people by saying either they're herdsmen, where they didn't see them with cows, or they are Fulani people.
Well, when we are listening to, or whenever we listen to eyewitnesses, when we take your eyewitness reports and so on, these are people who were on ground as a time of occurrence. We cannot sit here. I want to at times maybe challenge what they are telling us on ground. That is not supposed to mean that we are according every pronouncement and utterance from them has been authentic. But then, at best, we use what we are all hearing from them. You hear them saying they were speaking Fulani language. You hear them saying, was it 2 or 3 days? I had that one. They were shouting Allahu Akbar or so. I don't know if it's from your own studio or whichever. And things like that. Well, all you need to do now is to piece 2 and 2 together. If you said they are speaking Fulani language, you said they were saying Allahu Akbar, you want to say, okay, maybe they are from the northern part, but which Fulanis? Foreign Fulanis or our own Fulanis?
Indigenous Fulanis,
and so on.
Indeed.
How do they look like? Our Fulanis don't plat. The foreign Fulanis plat.
Yes.
They are males plat and so on. You know, so from all this, you can now lace up things and come out with some deductions and say, okay, I think these are the foreign Fulanis doing this and so on. At best, you can only go by what we hear this eyewitness is saying. And at times, they hear all this noise from their hideouts or when they peep and see, you know, and things like that. We've had all sorts of gruesome descriptions of what goes on.
And we've been told many times about foreign Fulanis and foreigners generally entering Nigeria because of our porous borders.
I think to a greater extent now, I would say the narrative is actually lending support to that. Most of these Fulanis we talk about are not our Nigerian Fulanis. Our Nigerian Fulanis are gentle people.
They're still the ones with the sticks.
Yes, yes.
Okay, let's bring in the native of Numan now, Ransom Nakusuba. He is joining us on phone from Numan village. He is one of those on ground when some of these things happened in Numan. Ransom, good morning. It's good to have you join us right now.
Good morning, Mr. Michael.
Yes. Can you talk to us, share with us basically the nature, how bad the situation was, and this attack, how it took place?
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me, Ransom?
Okay, Okay, I can hear you now.
All right. I am saying, can you share with us, with Nigerians, how bad things are right now on ground and how things happened from your witness?
Yeah, actually, just like I was in your studio, this event, this ugly incident occurred on Thursday evening around 4 p.m. So what happened is the major challenge of the Numan community within that axis is an adjacent local government from Taraba State that is called Lao local government. And then we have Abari, a community that is called Abari and Babagaza. This is where these hoodlums, these herdsmen killer, this is where they are stationed almost most of the time to attack our villages from that direction. And surprisingly, let me just put it on record, we have military men stationed there in Abari and Babagaza. We don't know under whose command, although rumor has it that they work for some influential military officer or somewhere belongs to a place somewhere around that area. And then we have the military protecting them, and then but the people leave those villages, and then they come to attack these communities here around in Numan local government here, and they go back. And then there's a forest between these two communities. So it's quite unfortunate. Somebody needs to say something somewhere. There is something wrong somewhere. How can the military be defending a place where you have these people living in that area to come over to attack, to go back, and there are military men in that place?
Ransom.
It's unfortunate that now we have Bolki, Gon, Zumotu, and Yanga. We have lost about 27 persons. Now, this 27 persons, some of them actually, just when they are trying to run across the riverside, and there may be a little canoe that can carry about 5 to 10 persons. You have more people climbing it, so they eventually sank. So they're able to come down and lay down some of these villages, these 4 villages. It's a serious issue. It's a very, very serious issue from
All right,
this part.
Ransom.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Thank you. For how long did the attacks occur? And were you able to really confirm to be sure that the military men were still stationed during the attacks? Or they went somewhere else at that time, maybe for another mission?
No, what I'm trying to say here is that Abari, there's a community that is called Abari under our local government. And then we have military men in that place. So these attackers are usually from that place. They leave that place to come and attack, and then they go back. That's what I'm trying to say.
So the military stationed in Abari, like you say, doesn't seem to ward off the attackers when they come.
No, the attacker leaves the Abari. They leave Abari and come to Numan local government area. Those are our communities there, and attack, and then go back to the same place where the military are stationed. So this has been consigned. Sometimes when we try with our local weapons, some bows and arrows to chase some of these persons, they go back there and you meet military men there. So there's no way you can penetrate, and we don't need to have issues with the military men at that place. So Abare and Babagaza has been their adjacent point. It has been their meeting point. And I wish to also state is that most of the people you see that come to do this attack, most of them they are foreigners. Just like the retired military officers they were saying, you see them, they flat their head. They are looking very different from our usual Fulani guys, although they could be sponsored by anybody around, because no foreigner will leave this land and come here and into attack for no just cause reason. So they hire these persons. You see them, a male, flattened head, very giant, smooth-looking body, person with heavily armed. This time around, they came close to about 800 of them from the point of view. So that got all the villages confused, and people were running for their life, helter. But information has been on ground that these people are gathering momentum in Abari for 2 days. Then people started getting scared. People started leaving the villages. But there's nothing no security is forthcoming. Until these things happen, sometimes before you see the security agents, they now come in. So this is a very unfortunate situation, please.
Ransom, yeah, but have your community people approached the military officially to tell them the situation of things there?
Yes, we have our leaders. Whenever the rumor of this attack is being rumored, so most of our leaders in the community here in the Numan local government, we have military men here in Numan local government, and we have Yola there very close by, so that now this information can further move on to where any rumor that emanated for the past 2 days, you rest assured that it has gone even to the state government level. It's just that sometimes one wonder what happened who is responsible for who to move, and then you don't know what is happening. Until these things are attacked, until when they strike, then you now see some of the security agents going there. If they had gone before this issue, you would have discovered that maybe they would have foretold or at least be able to stampede this issue. We won't have the kind of casualty we have and the loss of properties that we have around that area. So to an extent, these military men usually came either very late, whether the deal has already been done. That's when you now see them, they are pushed. This thing is quite disheartening. Every day you are in Numan and you are scared of your life. Today, tomorrow, you hear they will be coming towards this direction. The neighboring communities, either in Pare or somewhere around, of different, there have been different killings from different quarters. You won't sleep, you'll be hearing calls that people will be coming this direction. What is happening? We have security to let them come to functional use.
Okay. Ransom Nakusoba, we must thank you for giving us account of what went down and what's going on in Numan. It's really disheartening when citizens have to continually live in fear. He confirmed part of what you were saying earlier, that some of these attackers sometimes are not even Nigerians. Like you were differentiating, even when it comes to the Fulani, the Nigerian Fulani is very different from the Fulani that roams other parts of the continent. But let's talk about the issue of the military itself. Like Ransom said, in Abari, like he was saying, there's a military base or military station or post there. But these people attack and go towards the same place and then go back. And nothing seems to happen. From the eyes of the military, are they trying to say, is it obvious that we don't have the weapons to fight, so we don't need to engage? Or does it confirm part of what General Tiwa Danjuma was saying about collusion?
No, I wouldn't want to ascribe any form of complicity on the part of the military.
Okay.
Instead, what I would want to say quickly is this. Going by what he said, that about 800 in strength, 800 in strength, okay? That's about the size of a battalion. And I don't think the post to have there is a battalion. The point I'm trying to drive home here is that could the military may have been overwhelmed by their strength? Could it be, I'm just coming out with, you know, could it be
scenarios?
Yes.
By the weapons, sophisticated weapons?
Then, now, we look at the firepower. If there are 800, and given the sort of firepower which 800 persons will come with, if you are just barely 30, say a platoon strength, or a company strength, that is about 100 men or so, definitely you'll be overwhelmed. But one thing he made mention of, which I cannot really piece up to this, is that they come from where the military post is to go attack. We are talking of a strength of about 800 people. If they are mobilizing, boarding a vehicle or trucks and so on, I don't see why the military posts within that area might not be in the know. Or locals around there should inform them that, look, we have this type of guests in our community. Going by the strength, there's no how they can hide themselves. I'm just trying to play out a realistic picture,
scenario.
You know, so I'm yet to really understand that part of it all. But then the issue of overwhelming could be possible because when we look at how the way the Nigerian army is so, you know, dispersed all over the country now, you know, such that it leaves us thinly distributed all over to be able to take care of situations. When you work by that, there are manpower issues. I talked about certain internal deficits, bordering on manpower, funding, equipment, all right, which now eventually even dovetails into welfare, morale conditions of troops and so on. When you look at all these internal deficits, if we can adjust them and take care of them, I think we shall be able to take good care of some of these situations to a larger extent. All
right, Solomon, let me come to you. Earlier, we're talking about the need for intelligence gathering, and that seems to be the most important issue right now for any security situation to be addressed. Because I don't know if you heard the indigene of Numan that we spoke with earlier, talking about the attackers amounting to about 800. All right, so Oh, it seems we've lost connection.
It seems we lost the feed there.
Oh, yeah. We'll try to reconnect with Solomon.
We'll try to connect to Solomon.
Yes, before the end of this session. So let's just come to you. We're talking about the overwhelming number of these marauders. And
yes.
Just imagine that. And then, like all the issues you mentioned, what should the government be doing? Because we've been saying it over and over again. Nigerians are dying on a daily basis now because of what we've heard from another witness now, that it could be from a foreign invader.
It's unfortunate I must say this, but look, we must increase on funding. Like I keep saying, the military, when it comes to funding, is always shortchanged at the point of budgetary allocations. That is where the problem starts from. If you end up allocating what I want to call paltry sums to the military, taking into cognizance the huge task before it, fighting a war, at the end of the day, what goes down? Peanuts. We must know that we are in a war. And when a country is at war, a huge chunk of your resources goes to it. Fine. Somebody will tell you, are we saying we should close down schools? Are we saying health centers should close? And so on. We must just prioritize. We must just prioritize. Okay. Sacrifice in some areas and push on effectively in certain areas.
You can't even talk about any other issue if you don't have security.
The asymmetric warfare is driven by intelligence. Intelligence itself, the engine room to intelligence, is funding.
Okay, we have Solomon back online now from Abuja. Now, Solomon, a lot of analysts have been, and security experts have been advocating for state police as to a new way of making governors to be able to handle issues within their domains even before the federal government comes. Now, with the dimension of things, especially with the states around the borders, with this intrusion and invasion from other parts of or outside the country, how different would it be if we have the state police in place?
That's another area.
Yes. First, we have rightly noted that the military, to the extent that they are competent, are still overstretched. And there is a need for other security forces to complement what they are doing. Now, in the issue of state policing, that's an issue of legislations. Legislations will have to come in. And it will also give the states more responsibility if we cross that line. The states will have the responsibility of internal security in collaboration with the federal government, in collaboration with the Nigerian Armed Forces, in collaboration with other paramilitary forces. Local intelligence gathering will be enhanced, and it will improve security on the whole. But then we should also look at the roots of this. If we are talking about invading attackers, people coming from outside the shores of Nigeria, there is that need for intelligence gathering. There is that need for improved security along our borderlines. The Nigeria Immigration Service, the Nigeria Customs Service should also intensify their work. While when we come to the point where maybe state policing is approved by law, then they will come in and also play their roles. We should not forget that those who are in the states, they know the terrain more. And also, when you begin to find people throwing blames here and there, like saying that maybe the army is providing shield for these attackers, which we should strongly doubt, even though they are on ground there, but these are issues that should be thoroughly investigated. We know that the army works seriously in line with its constitutional duty of protecting the sovereignty of Nigeria, every inch of our sovereignty. And we do not believe that they will watch attackers coming and attackers going.
Okay.
But then when we come to that point, where state policing is approved, where state policing is agreed upon by law, we believe that these indigents, locals of every community, will have more confidence in the security apparatus of their respective
All right.
communities.
Thank you very
while
much.
While they work in cooperation with the federal forces.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you very much, Solomon Adodo. Thank you for talking to us. And Colonel Hassan Stanlabo, thank you very much for coming on the program.
It's all right.
Yeah, we look forward to better days. We also thank Ransom Nakusuba for joining us earlier from Numan. He gave us an eyewitness account from there. We look forward to better days for Nigeria in the area of security and other areas as well.
Absolutely.